Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be diving into something that might seem, well, kind of simple on the surface, the Tkinter Combobox.
Hmm.
You've all sent out a ton of notes and code snippets on this one, so clearly you're ready to, go beyond just the basics, get ready to unlock the hidden powers of the combo box. We're going to see how it can make your Tkinter applications really stand out.
I'm excited to jump into this. The combo box is one of those elements, those GUI elements that
Yeah.
seem, well, pretty straightforward, But when you really start exploring what it can do, there's a surprising amount of depth there.
Yeah, no, I'm already intrigued. So for anyone who might be new to Tinter, can you give us like a quick explanation of what a combo box even is? What makes it so special in the world of Tinter?
Sure, so at its core, a combo box gives you the best of both worlds. It's like, it gives the user that predefined list of options, just like a classic dropdown. But at the same time, it also allows for free-form text input. So, users aren't limited to just those pre-selected choices.
Ah, okay, so that's where that flexibility comes in handy, right? It can really adapt to a wider range of user inputs.
Exactly.
So now that we've got the what, I'm kind of eager to get to the how. What's our starting point if we want to create a combo box in Tkinter?
Well, it all starts at the ttk.combobox widget. And this is crucial. Make absolutely sure you've imported TTK from Tkinter right at the beginning. Otherwise, you're going to be seeing that dreaded attribute error module Tkinter has no attribute combo box error message.
Oh yeah, we've all been there. It's a rite of passage for Tkinter, that error message.
It happens to the best of us.
So we've got TTK imported. We're ready to make our combo box appear. What's next?
All right, so now we have a choice to make. Do we want our combo box to just start off blank, or do we want to maybe pre-select a default value for the user?
Interesting. So we've got options even before the user interacts with anything. Let's explore both, I guess. First, how do we set that initial value? Like we want to kind of nudge the user towards a particular option.
You've got a couple of ways to go about it.
All right.
So let's just say for this example, you've named your combo box CB1. You could use the index of the value you want within the combo box's options. For instance, CB1.current 2 would select the third item, remembering that Python starts counting at 0.
Right, right. Zero-based indexing. Always got to keep that in mind.
Exactly. Now, another way to do this is by directly setting the value using the set method. So CB1.set, and then in the parentheses, the value.
Okay, so it sounds like we've got some flexibility in how we approach this. And it's probably a good idea to just choose the method that makes the most sense in the context of our code. But let's flip things around for a sec. Our user has made their selection. How do we, as developers, actually get that information out of the combo box?
Retrieving the user's choice. So to grab the selected value, you'd use the cb1.get method. But there's a little something to watch out for here, especially if you're newer to Tkinter.
Ooh, gotcha. I'm listening.
Right, so if you want to work with the index of the selected item, you'd use cb1.current. The thing is, it gives you an integer, not a string. So if you need to display it, you might need to convert it first.
So it's like a little trapdoor on an otherwise straightforward path. Good to know, especially for those who are just starting out with Tkinter and might not be familiar with these little quirks.
Exactly. It's those little details that can make a big difference.
Totally. Now, let's say our combo box needs to be a bit more, well, dynamic. What happens when the options themselves need to change? We've got to clear out old selections, bring in new options, right?
You're spot on. Let's dive into making our combo boxes as dynamic as can be right after this.
All right, so we've got the basics down.
hmm
Creating our combo box, setting an initial value, even grabbing the user's selection. But like we were saying, in the UI world, things rarely stay put for long. What about when we need to, like, totally switch up the options in our combo box, clear out the old, bring in the new?
That's where things get really interesting. Tkinter gives us the tools to make our combo boxes really dynamic. First off, let's clear those selections. If you just want to wipe the slate clean, cb1.set will do the trick, resets it back to nothing.
Like hitting the reset button, simple enough.
Exactly. Now, if you want to be extra thorough, actually remove all the text, you'd use cb1.delete 0, and make sure there's no visual remnants hanging around.
So it's all about that clean slate experience, whether it's behind the scenes or visually for the user. Great to have options, but clearing is only half the battle. What about when we want to inject some fresh options into our combo box? I feel like that's where it gets more complex.
You're right. Dynamically updating those options takes a bit more finesse. Tinter's got us covered. One really cool technique uses the text variable option together with the trace add method.
Okay, I can already tell this is where the magic happens. Although I got to admit, text variable and tracehead combined sound a bit like It's something out of a wizard's spell book. Can you break it down for us?
Absolutely. Imagine you've got a combo box where the user's choosing, say, their favorite color, and next to it, you've got a label that displays a fun fact about that color, right? Text variable and trace add are how you create that live connection.
Okay, now that sounds incredibly useful, way more practical than a spell book, though I do love a good spell book. But how does this actually work in practice?
So let's say we've got our combo box set up with some color options. We've also got that label. Maybe it initially says, choose a color to see a fun fact. With text variable, we can link the combo box's selected value to a Tkinter variable. Then trace add is how we tell our code to watch that variable. So when the user picks a different color, that variable updates, right? This triggers trace add, which lets us run a function, and that function can change the label's text to match the new color.
Wow, that's pretty elegant. All happening behind the scenes. The user has no idea about our Tkinter wizardry. I'm starting to see how powerful this combo can be. But we're on a roll. You mentioned adding or removing options on the fly, too. Is that another text variable trace add situation?
While those are great for reacting to changes, for actually adding or removing, we'll work with the combo box's values attribute. It's surprisingly straightforward. Picture this. You've got an entry widget next to your combo box. Users can type in new items. Let's say it's like a shopping list app.
Ah, the classic dynamic list. I see where you're going with this.
Exactly. So the user types, let's say, apples into that entry widget, hits a button. We grab that input, call it new item, and we add it to our combo box's options using CB1 values. CB1 values, new item.
So my shopping list combo box is updating live as I add items. That's super cool. Although, gotta watch out for duplicates, right? Can't be buying 10 gallons of milk by accident.
You're absolutely right. I got to keep those shopping lists accurate.
Yeah.
Luckily, a little Python list manipulation solves that. Here's the thing, though. CB1 values, that's actually a tuple, not a list. And tuples are immutable. Can't change them directly.
Ah, immutability, the bane of many a programmer. Right.
You got it. But no worries, there's a workaround. We create a new list, copy over all the existing options from the combo box, and if the new item isn't already there, we add it to this new list. Finally, we assign this modified list back to CB1 values.
Very clever. Little behind-the-scenes juggling to keep things tidy. I love that Tkinter gives us this low-level control while still having those high-level tools like the combo box.
It's a great balance to have. Now, ready to dive into even more advanced combo box techniques and use cases, because we can take this to a whole new level.
Lay it on us. We've tackled dynamic updates. We've waded through tuples. I'm ready to see what other secrets the combo box has up its sleeve.
All right, let's talk about dictionaries. Might seem kind of basic, right? Just key value pairs.
Yeah.
But they can actually be super powerful when you're working with combo boxes.
Oh, yeah, you've got my attention. I've always liked dictionaries, but I haven't really thought of them in the combo box context. How do they fit in?
So imagine you're building an app and users are picking a product from a combo box. And you could just have the product names in there, right? But what if you want more info tied to each product? Price, description, maybe even an image. That's where dictionaries come in.
I'm starting to see it. So instead of just plotting text in the combo box, we've got this whole dictionary behind the scenes holding all that extra data.
Exactly. You could structure it so the keys are your product names, what the user sees in the combo box, and then the values are dictionaries themselves, holding all those details. So when the user picks something, you don't just get coffee mug, you get access to its price, description, everything.
That is powerful. It's like each combo box option has a secret compartment full of goodies. I could see this being useful for so many things. Product catalogs, quizzes, you name it.
For sure. Plus, it keeps your code nice and organized. No more juggling separate lists or trying to keep data in sync. It's all right there in the dictionary. And dictionaries are just one example. Tkinter's really flexible when it comes to data sources. You could pull options from a CSV file, a database, even a web API.
Whoa, okay. So we're talking combo boxes updating live from external data. That's next level.
Exactly. The key thing to remember is that values attribute we've been working with. It takes any iterable, not just a plain list. So you can feed it data from practically anywhere, as long as it's iterable.
That's amazing. Trucker really lets you break free from static interfaces and embrace that real-time data flow. Speaking of control, though, you mentioned enabling or disabling a combo box based on certain conditions. What's that about?
Right, got to talk about state control. Sometimes you need to limit what the user can do based on what's happening in your app. Like, say you've got a confirm order button, but it should only work after the user's chosen a shipping method from a combo box.
Yeah, classic dependent actions in a UI. I've run into that many times.
Exactly. Tracker makes it super easy. The combo box has a state attribute that we can change. It can be normal, disabled, red only.
So we can start with the combo box disabled. Then once they pick a shipping method, boom, it's enabled.
Exactly. You'd create it with state disabled, and then once they've made their choice, cb1.configure state normal would instantly enable it. Gives that nice visual feedback to the user.
I like it. Smooth, intuitive.
Yeah.
It's all about that user experience.
Couldn't agree more. And just like that, we've gone from the basics of making a combo box to updating it on the fly, even controlling its behavior based on what the user's doing.
Wow, we really have covered a ton of ground.
Yeah.
I'm honestly amazed by how such a seemingly basic widget like the combo box can be such a powerhouse in Tkinter.
Me too. And the best part is, we've just scratched the surface. There's a whole world of styling options in Tkinter. You can make your combo boxes look however you want.
That's the perfect note to end on. Functionality, dynamism, and now a little invitation to get artistic with it. I think our listeners are more than ready to go build some seriously impressive combo box powered apps.
Absolutely. Until next time, happy coding.
Happy coding. And thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Combo Gunter's Combo Box.